Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching another vlog entry on the channel, and we are reacting to what was probably one of the best live streams that we've done for the Suffolk Non-League show. We've just come off recording with Matt Hazelton, absolutely Stanton legend, non-league legend by the sounds of things. Got so much love in the comment section.
Absolutely.
It's brilliant show. Absolutely superb show. What did you make of it, Adam? Because as I said, for me, I think that was one of the best.
Blown away. I mean, I put a little comment in the private chat that we've got very early on, and I was watching more than taking part. I think I was absolutely engrossed in everything he had to say, and I was there for the journey. It's just phenomenal, like the stories that he'd got and the passion that he showed all the way through. Unbelievable, a fantastic guest.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I think you can always tell, and we always talk about this because we're now recording this at 20 to midnight. We sit here for a good hour after the show's finished. We catch up on stuff that we missed during the week, and we catch up on all the different bits of stuff that we're trying to sort out and organize for the week coming up, etc. And we sit there and we normally we know if we've done a good show, we've had a good show based on the reaction that we get from Twitter and all of our socials afterwards. Like, this has been non-stop. Like, we talked for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we both looked at our phones and went, like, Jesus, there's 25 notifications here. Like,
yeah,
I know that might not sound like a lot to some people, but for us, like, that goes to show you've done well when you're getting that many messages coming through from people saying, that's a great show, absolutely loved it. You know, that was absolutely superb. You know, you did really well to get those stories out. Like, that just shows that it's been a good show.
I love getting those messages as well because it gives us a bit of confidence in a time when the question is out there: do people still want to hear about non-league football? It'd be very easy at the moment just to pack this in and say, "I will start again when football comes back,"
like others have.
It would just be very, very, very simple to do.
Yeah,
but this kind of just gives you that renewed optimism. Every week that there's stuff to talk about, issues to talk about, and maybe at times like things to bring to light that so many people don't even know about. We had a great conversation tonight about young players in the game, how in Matt's day people were coming through doing first team football at 14. Unbelievable.
No, like I said, it was a really good show. I loved it. Like I said, his passion for Stanton was just something that I didn't think existed anymore in non-league football, because people do hop from place to place, and you occasionally find those kind of stories. But yeah, as I said, his passion for that football club, we got those comments all night, didn't we? Just like, I hope we need this kind of passion at every club. It was just really good, really, really good.
I was interested in the fact that whenever he spoke about Stanton, he sounded excited.
Yeah.
It like whenever he went back to his playing days, he was still living it in his mind. And you think how, like, as a spectator, you go to a game and you take those moments away and you talk about it. He was still doing that from his playing days, and everything was in there. Sounded like he had fun as well.
Yeah, it definitely did. But the amount of people that had stories to tell as well from it, and the amount of DMs that we were getting throughout the show with people going, "Oh, just ask him this, ask him that. I don't want to put it in the chat, but just ask him this, ask him that." That hasn't happened for a long time on the show, where we get those kind of messages as we're going along. But yeah, he just seemed to. He was very open and chatted about everything, and there was no holding back. And like you said, you can tell he's had his fun in non-league football.
This has been well worth getting booked in and doing. Like, this has been booked in for a long time. But obviously, we don't announce all our guests as we get them in. But this has probably been 3 or 4 weeks we've had this booked in for. And goodness me, was it worth the wait? Like, it encourages me to start thinking ahead to further, like, who's next. Can't do this show living in the moment for everything. I know we joke about the news always happening on a Monday. It's pointless us preparing the news. It changes every Monday regardless.
No, exactly.
But for the guests, it's that research that goes in, I think. And I think we need to do more of collecting other people's opinions. Who can you remember playing with? Like, who can you remember watching when you were younger that's really got the stories to tell? And we need more of that. It's tremendous, and it's actually really good fun talking to those people, like living their journey with them.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that, and I think I kind of did that before we went live with this one, because I'll be honest, Matt Hazelton's not a name that I know hugely well from my time of covering non-league football. I reached out to a few people and just asked me to tell me some stories, and that was all the information I need to know that we were going to be having it. We had a good show on our hands. If we could just get it right, and you could tell from the numbers that poured in, it was going to be a good show. It was going to be a good show regardless, because people were really up for tonight, and I think having the news that we had earlier on in the evening just helped a little bit, didn't it? And there was a real feel good factor about tonight's show.
There was a lovely bit of buzz beforehand with people putting dates in of when things are coming back and stuff.
Yeah,
like, a nice bit of positivity as well. Like, I've already put on Twitter, and I don't mind being open about it. Like, I will not, in my mind, set my heart on those dates.
No,
I would rather, things have been said like around following the science and stuff. I'd rather have it in my mind to know that, okay, we know where we're going with this. We've just got to work towards the when, and when it happens, you then enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I think if I get a date stuck in my head, and then we're going to say, oh, it's going to be at least another 4 weeks before we can review it and work towards that, I think I'm going to find things very, very hard. And like, as much positive news as there was coming out of it, if I speak about my personal opinion on it for a moment and how I felt, like, of all the phrases that stood out, it was that, and lockdown will end in July or whenever it was, when those last restrictions. And I just thought that's 7 months from when it started, regardless of all those nice things. So, like, at the very best, that's 7 months.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But
tough. I suppose that is for when life gets back to what is considered the normal. Hopefully April sort of time, we can start getting to games, if there are going to be any put on by clubs and stuff like that. So there's that to look forward to. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's still not the same when you can go to a game, but you can't still meet up with your family and friends. It's just, there's certain things beyond football that are far more important.
Yeah, and I think I know you'll feel the same, but it's those family bits are desperately important when you've got a young family of your own.
Yeah.
And you've also got to remember those footballers and everyone else that we're talking about have got their own families. I'm not sure they're going to want to spend the first few weekends of lockdown on a training pitch, and out of lockdown on a training pitch, and maybe they'll be wanting to spend those with their own loved ones and stuff. So we've got to be very, very calm and patient in regards to what we expect.
Yeah, but not demanding things straight away.
Yeah, but we can also have measured optimism on the fact that we know we're getting there.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
The fact that I got my vaccine this week was an enormous boost for me.
Yeah,
personally, because I was expecting to be like waiting into next year. I couldn't see how I could physically be picked to have one.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I've had a couple of moments this week that have given me a massive lift.
Yeah.
There's been moments of the other way, but yeah.
No, fair enough. And like I said, as we always do on this one, this is our time to reflect, and I appreciate you kind of saying that. How have you been feeling? Because obviously I know you had it not too long ago. How have you been? Because I know because I've asked you before, but how have you found it?
Yeah, like, the actual process and everything is nothing for anyone to worry about whatsoever. I still marvel at the fact that the operation they're putting together on such a large scale has just happened. And it's fine. Like, I've got a couple of little side effects, but that's going to vary from person to person. Mustn't worry about it. I'm still thinking about the bigger goal at the end of it, and when it comes to getting the second one, I'm just can't wait to just go and sit down and get it done. And I'll walk out of there and think, do you know what? In 4 weeks' time, that bit of my part of this is done.
Yeah.
And it may be that next year we're in the same boat again and we need to go and get boosters or whatever. But for now, we've done all we can.
Yeah, exactly it. So shall we? Let's bring our 2 news items that we've got to the fore. Let's bring them up front. The clothing line. We had a couple of questions based on it during this week's show. Obviously, the Monday live show. We had a few people asking about it. We are now in the process of we've confirmed that the products that we want to be able to offer you guys are now in stock and what we can offer you. I just need to put a disclaimer out there on the hoodie. This version of the hoodie is not vegan free. I don't know how you can vegan free a hoodie, but I do just have to put that disclaimer out there before we go live with the line. The website is available for us. We just need to fine tune a few bits and pieces, get the pricing right as well, because we're not going to make anything from this. Maybe a quid here and a quid there. It's not about that. It's about getting the brand and the image out there and building up a bigger network of things. But as I said, we want to get things right, and we don't want to overprice people for stuff, because that's not what we're about. We just want to give something back to you guys that you guys can help us in return. And it's that's the whole circle of everything. So I hope by the end of this week, and by the time this goes out, will be towards the end of the week, I would hope by Friday we should have an announcement about when the site is live, so that you guys can go and check that out. If it is available and it is live, I will put the link for it in the description of this video. So go check it out. If it's there, great. If not, I'll let you know in due course when that's out. But
yeah,
exciting. We're happy with what's been produced.
Yeah, big time. I'm excited about it. It's nice to actually see it on a page and just to offer something where people can support the show visually as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also our guest for next week's show, which is I think the main reason why people tune into these, as well as hearing us two nattering on for 10 to 20 minutes. Next week's show, we've not got one, but we've got 2 guests coming up. You obviously announced one of them during the live show, Ollie Bayliss. What's he coming on to talk about, and how excited are you for him to be on the show?
Ollie's already said that he's really looking forward to coming on and speaking football with us. He's obviously reported for the BBC for a long time now, and he's been at the centre of a lot of the campaigns and the news information about non-league. He really has been a bit of a non-league hero for all of us to look up to, and for someone in reporting, it's someone that I certainly do look up to.
So he's the go-to source of information, isn't he?
Absolutely. And he's going to come on and speak about, I've requested that we have a conversation that also looks at the more positive aspects of us getting back to playing, and the news that happened this Monday could not have come at a better time.
Yeah, definitely so.
I think he probably, he may have had wind of what was coming a bit early, because he did volunteer to come on this week but said he wouldn't be able to, so he probably knew what was coming to some extent. But next week we'll get a lowdown from him and see how he thinks things could look going back, and get his, I want to gauge his impression of the impact of all this now we're looking to come out the other side.
Yeah, definitely. So really excited to have Ollie on the show, because again, it's somebody that we've admired from afar for a long time. So it'd be good to get his thoughts and opinions. And our main guest for next Monday's show, God, jumping ahead there, for next Monday's show is the Thetford manager, Matt Morton.
Absolutely. Big news, in terms of Matt. He openly came out as gay this year, which gained national attention. Obviously, it's in terms of football, it's virtually unheard of for whatever reason. And he's done a lot of work in the media to support that and to try and really support that cause. But not only is he manager at Thetford, but as sort of was mentioned in tonight's show, Matt's had an incredible spell in Sunday League management with Gym United, putting together a team of top furlough none players, as well as some other players from slightly lower divisions that, again, are top level. And he won a lot of stuff with them. And it'll be interesting to talk about his time at the two. And I know he'll be speaking very fondly of Jim, but he's obviously got his project that he's working on at Thetford, and his stance on how the season ends is a really important one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to the conversation with Matt, because on the field, I think he's well known in our area in terms of what he has done, what he's achieved. As you mentioned, everything that's going on with happened with Jim was an unbelievable feat. There'll be a lot of stories to tell, and a lot of people will know and will have watched and heard stories and stuff like that from his time at Jim, and obviously throughout non-league. So I think it could be a really good show with him. I think there's a lot to tell. There's a lot of conversations to be had. And I think it could be very similar to tonight's one. I think people will gravitate towards it. And I think our audience will love it. I think there'll be some really, really good stories to tell. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it could be another really, really good show. And like I said, to combine both Ollie and Matt on the same show will be incredible. So next Monday is definitely not one to be missed.
It's been a while since Matt released his story and went public with everything, and gained that attention and got some traction moving under things. And we specifically chose not to approach him at that time.
Yeah, we did.
Everything was so public in terms of things, and it's like you don't want to repeat the same stuff. And for me, it's important to now speak to him and see how things have gone since that point.
Yeah, because whilst everyone did approach him very quickly and kind of got his immediate reaction to kind of what was going on.
Yeah.
Like you said, for me, it wasn't the right time, because it just felt like we could have been approaching him just because that was the story at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people that jumps on something because it's the in thing to talk about, and it's it's a headline and it's a view and all this kind of stuff like that. That's not what we're about here. I want to get to know Matt and his story in non-league football, that part of his life. And whilst we will talk about it, that's a part of who he is. And what I want to understand is the football side of it, the mental aspect of it, and all of the other things that all come into play. That's what I want to get a hold of, not just, oh, Matt Morton is gay. It's like, so who cares? That's not what we're about here. So we made that conscious decision not to approach him during that time. And as you said, it'll be very interesting to get his side of things and his story now that time has kind of passed and there's been that lull, and where he's at now. It'll just be it'll be a really interesting chat, and I'm excited for it. I think it could be, as I said, I think it's going to be a really good show next week.
Something else to properly look forward to. So it's all good.
Yeah, definitely. We will be announcing very shortly as well our next batch of live watch along games that myself and Adam are going to be sitting down. We need to sit down now after this show, after this part has finished recording, to figure out our diaries now moving forward, what games we can watch. The Norwich one went down really well. Ipswich, when you're watching it, will have been the night before, or 2 nights before rather. So we'll see how that went. I'm sure it would have gone fine. But yeah, like I said, there's going to be plenty more coming up on the show for the watch alongs. You seem to be really enjoying it, and whilst we're enjoying it, we will continue to do them as well.
That's the ticket.
That's it. You could say it's a match day ticket. And on that bombshell, we're going to finish up. Tonight's vlog entry. Not too bad for two Muppets with green screens, eh? But I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of stuff like that. But until next time, as always, adios.